What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. 2-0 talk. Let's go.
Let's go. This ain't the fuck night. Oh, this game he stinks.
Oh shit!
It's gone.
Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Welcome in, everybody. It's the A2D Radio Sixers post-game show. 2-0 series lead. Every post-game show is brought to you by FanUp. FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NBA contests, MLB contests, win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points. That's a $50 value. You can find FanUp right on the Apple Store. Nick Delgazzo, Ryan Brodo, Tom Arnone, everybody out there, welcome in. Huge win, and we got a lot to talk about. Comments of the night in our chat we'll get to throughout the show. We'll have our loser of the game, winner of the game, and as always, our lead topic at hand is our gut reactions to what we just watched, and that's brought to you by Manscaped, and you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. It's time to throw out your old hygiene habits and upgrade your life. Let's get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. Gut reactions. You know, to start it off, you beat a team handily 2 games in a row, and you sort of did it differently. And besides shooting the three lights out, you did it differently in terms of who scored the basketball for you. You know, tonight you got all 5 starters in double figures. You know, I think I speak for everybody. It's going to be hard to beat this team if that's the case. On a nightly basis, extremely hard. And you know, now the other night your leading scorer is Maxey. Your 4th leading scorer is Joel. Tonight, Joel's your leading scorer. I think Tyrese was your 2nd leading scorer. And Toby, you know, drops 20 again. He's over 20 again. So that's huge. That's huge to be able to beat a team 2 different ways. Okay, and that's extremely important. You know, you turned the basketball over a little bit more tonight, but you out-rebounded them. Right, and you expect the turnovers to not ever be 2, but you out-rebounded them tonight, which is obviously gigantic in a series like this. But your energy, and my other gut reaction is your best player came out again in the first quarter and imposed his will. He did it in game 1. It didn't necessarily show up in the scoring side of the stat sheet, but it definitely showed up in the rebounding side. And tonight showed up in both, especially in the first quarter. Right, I mean, I think he had. I got to look exactly how many he had in the first quarter, but it doesn't matter just because my eyes told me everything I needed to know. And that's your star, you know, coming into a game and not going to let you lose. But I think the most important thing is when you're finding ways to beat teams in 2 different styles per se. And I thought Harden did a good job of just distributing again tonight, getting guys involved, getting guys going. But I think the other gut reaction is if this is the Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey that we're going to see for the rest of the postseason, man, I would be nervous to see us at any point throughout the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. I would just be a little worried if you're seeing 20 plus from them nightly, right? And we talked about that the other night. If those 2 are giving you 20 a night and Joe's giving you 28 to 30, I don't know who's beating you because not many people have it from 3 guys like that. 3 guys, and we're not even counting the 4th guy. So it's a breath of fresh air because we talked about this as the regular season was ending, how important it was for those two guys to really find their roles and step up for this basketball team once the playoffs hit. And they both have. But, 2 games, 2 check marks, Tobias and Tyrese. 2 games, 2 checks, and Joe's going to bring it nightly. So now Harden becomes almost like your 4th guy. So, what I mean? That's where you're sort of at. You're going to need games where he's going to have to step up and go off, obviously. He had a great game 1, in my opinion. But I thought he played great defense tonight. Honestly, I thought our whole basketball team did. Because my other gut reaction is they came in and smacked you in the mouth. They were 4 for 5 to start the basketball game off. They were up double digits right away on you, and then you went and you clamped down. And they were 1 for 9 after that. And then after that, I didn't even keep track of where they were after that. But that's important to me too. That's another gut reaction that hey, you came in, somebody smacked you right in the mouth. They were physical with you, and they got off to a hot start, and you were able to withstand it, and you withstood it with defense. Okay, because at the end of the day, we know this team can score. We know this team's not going to have problems scoring on a nightly basis in the playoffs. Okay, so what's going to be the difference maker for them? Right? Can they clamp down? Are they good enough on the perimeter? Right? And I think you saw that tonight again. I mean, you hold a team to under 100. That's always, hey, somebody played defense tonight. Somebody was palmsy, but they really did that after the early run. The early run. So they're my 2 big gut reactions. One, you beat them differently both games in terms of scoring, in terms of who was leading your team in scoring that night. And I think that's always important. I think we all felt like Joe was going to lead the team in scoring tonight, but it's just good to see because you beat him handily 2 different ways. And then, you side that with Tobias and Tyrese, the way they played. And then you talk about our defense. I mean, I can't be happier heading into Toronto, but game 3 is a real teller to us. I think it's going to be a real teller, right? How good are we? And we're going to find out after game 3. Not that it's the end all be all, because I still believe we win the series. But if they go in there and oh my God, is this a pass ball, real life Phillies? I mean, I don't want to talk about it. JT, we really pass ball on it.
Look how he covers home too, like tiptoeing in, like it's just embarrassing. Watch Alvarado. I know you're in the middle of a Sixers rant, but just watch it. I mean, that can't happen. But then Alvarado comes in like he's going to get plowed over by Ray Lewis. You know what I mean? Like look at this. Watch this. You got to cover home, Jose.
This is bad. This is tough to watch. But yeah, when you win games like this, and game 3 is going to just be a tower to us. Not that it's going to dictate the series, but game 3 and 4 are towers, right? I mean, because how are you going to play in that environment and up there, right? There's always been a house of horrors that we talked about, last night on Agree Disagree. So that's my gut reactions. Family out there, what's yours, guys? What are your reactions to what you just watched?
Picking up where you left off, Tom. It's 3 and 4. You got to step on their throats. You really can't give them any signs of life, any unneeded momentum. And you saw it tonight where you talked about it before we went on, Tom, how efficient the Raptors came out in the first quarter. VanVleet gets hot. And then it was all about, Doc Rivers talked about a postgame. They kind of just had to, weather the storm, and they did that. They got through that first, 3-4 minute period, and then they had a little bit of a run on their own. The biggest thing too, which especially a young player like Tyrese Maxey, he could have very easily have come out and started jacking threes, started, doing what I saw somebody in the chat say, and that was like Fred VanVleet do what he did in the second, third, and mostly in the fourth quarter, and that was shot them out of the game. But Tyrese Maxey was patient, and even Doc Rivers said post-game that they actually had to get on him about being more aggressive. They were saying, like, yeah, they're taking you out of the game, but you're being way too passive. So he was patient, and then when they needed him to, when Joel went out of the game for the first time and they were playing that Harden, Tyrese Maxey little two-man game, he picked up right where he left off. And it was like, you almost forgot about how he didn't have any points for obviously the first quarter and a little bit through, the second quarter. To your point also, if you're going to get this Tobias Harris, where he's just the definition of efficiency, he's going to, again, had a really good game on the boards. He really limited the mistakes. If you're going to get that, I mean, we talk all about how, the addition of Tyrese Maxey is going to make Embiid and Harden's job a lot easier. But I mean, if you're going to get anything out of that guy like you have been, I mean, that's crucial. And because you're going to get it on both sides of the floor. And also, you beat a team handily tonight when the guy who was supposed to be your second leading scorer, your second star, he really just, all he had to do was coast in the second half. That's all he really had to do. He really didn't need to make too many plays. He just needed to put guys in the right positions, and that's what he did. I thought he did a really good job of controlling the game in the first half when it was still really close. And I see the people in the chat saying like, oh, guys, it got uncomfortable in the fourth. Well, I mean, how many times have we said it's a game of runs?
It's the NBA.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't like to see it in the playoffs, obviously, because I think like the one guy commented, PTSD, from those giant Hawks leads last year. You know what I mean? But everybody knows how the NBA works. You know what I mean? It's when you're up big, you get you guys are resting, and then professionals will go on runs. I mean, you don't want to see a 20-2 run, all right? But listen, at the end of the day, you won by 15.
The last thing I'll say really quick, and this is again, it's not as big as what you saw from Maxey, Embiid, and obviously Tobias. But Tom, you and I on Mondays and Wednesdays, we've been talking a lot for these last, felt like 2.5, 3 months, that if you can just get a Danny Green that's healthy, that could be so big for a playoff series or multiple series, depending on how you play. And justifiably so. Listen, the chat laughed at us every time we said it because, oh, Danny Green, he's 50. Oh, he's a non-factor. But that's been the entire point. It's that this entire year, he has been a literal zero, whether he's been off the court because of injuries or he's been on the court and he's just been kind of scuffling around out there. If you're going to get a guy who just comes in, plays some hard defense, not to the level that he used to, but hard defense, and he's going to make some threes when necessary, that's gigantic because you're getting something from your three spot that you aren't getting from the other guy. And you're getting some things that can take pressure off of a Tobias, Maxey, Harden, and Embiid. So if you're going to have him do his job, get you, 9, 10, 11, some odd points, that's gigantic because those things you're not necessarily counting on. You're counting on the big four, quote unquote, not necessarily Danny Green. So if you're going to get him in a fully healthy Danny Green, which is the closest thing to that I've seen, since we got hurt last year in the postseason, that could be really big going forward.
Yeah, I just think him being a veteran's big. The guy just been there. And so if he gives you something, his voice matters a little bit more too.
Yeah, listen, anything you get from him is gravy. I mean, we don't want to see, 0 for 5s, you know what I mean? So to both your points, you know what I mean? Like you gotta give us something, you know what I mean? You gotta show us proof of life. All right. And back to Toby. I mean, I know it's 2 games, but my goodness gracious, this is the guy we were waiting for all year. And I understand there wasn't enough basketballs to go around, when you got to, the last 17 games when the beard got here. But man, it looks like, like from, the first 2 games that James just, he showed a little bit of excitement tonight that he's going to be okay with being a facilitator. You know what I mean? And the guy, he had 5 turnovers tonight, but I don't want to see that, but the guy can move the basketball around. The guy can get guys open shots. And, if he continues to, give us 14, but, he gets, 14, 10 and 11, those little sneaky, small, tiny triple doubles and Toby does his thing and the other 2 guys, go off. Come on. This is a dangerous team. We've kind of been saying it all year, and people give us, their homer hate and stuff. And all we're saying is, hey, listen, the pieces are there. We haven't played well, or we haven't played up to our capability, in the regular season, like we would have liked to, as Philly fans, we set the bar kind of high. I mean, we don't accept mediocrity, we don't accept that, and, all we ask is our guys to play hard and show up every night. And, and I'd be the first guy, I'd kill Toby all year. So, and I'm always the first guy to tip my cap to him and, and tell him, tremendous job. And those first 2 games, he's been awesome. So, and like Rye said, on both sides of, on both ends of the floor. So it was just really fun. Like I said, it's fun to watch. It's 2 games, a lot of series, a lot of playoffs left, but we weathered the storm. A 33-point first quarter, and then we clamped up and went 19. We allowed 19, and then the fourth got a little outrageous there, but part of that was that 20-2 run. They only finished with 26. So after they got up to our necks, I think they got it to 11 or 9 or whatever it was, and we just that's enough. That's enough. That was close enough. And we put our foot back on them. So I don't care how close it got. I don't care about that, that sloppiness and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, we got to take care of the basketball. We know that. Offensive rebounds, it wasn't a landslide, but I don't like to see that. When you win the rebounding, we won the rebounding battle, but I still don't like to see 13-7 in offensive rebounds. You know what I mean? To me, that's sometimes you get out hustled. Now, a lot of that could have been from the first quarter. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'm not, the analytical guy with, what all the numbers. I have no idea when they occurred. So it could have happened early on. And then, once we decided to wake up and start playing, that number might have went away. And I think one possession there was probably like 3 offensive rebounds. So that was probably 3 of them right there.
Yeah. Yep.
But overall, been a real fun 2 games.
I do have this real quick, Tom. So obviously anyone who was watching the broadcast, they saw Nick Nurse and Embiid got, they had a conversation. They were getting into it a little bit, towards the end of the game. So Nick Nurse revealed, and also through some Twitter people who were, I guess they were lip reading what was said. But Nick Nurse was asked about the exchange postgame, and he said, Embiid said, I'm going to keep making all my free throws if you keep fouling me. Y'all have nobody to guard me. And I said, well, you might have to.
Yep.
That's a hell of a comeback, Nick. Because he basically is. This isn't a Simmons thing. This isn't a Shaq thing.
Yeah, I'm tired of talking about free throws. Like, in terms of when Ben didn't make them, and to when now we have the best player in the league and he's gigantic. So like I'm just so sick of like everybody out there that's not living in Philadelphia, right, and doesn't watch his team on a nightly basis, like bitching about free throws when we went over this one night on how great players go to the goddamn line. And if you guys don't understand that, just look around the league and you don't watch around the league. Everybody's got an excuse for something, all right? It had nothing to do with them getting their doors blown off 2 nights in a row, all right? It has to do with a damn good basketball team. So somebody was saying, a lopsided, being a lonely 5 seed in the Raptors and injuring players, which we didn't injure any players.
Careful what you wish for. No, careful what you wish for, T-City. We'll be there. We'll be there, T-City. We're coming.
Then we get smashed in Miami.
Careful what you wish for, brother.
Your toughest guy doesn't even play. Okay? That's all you need to know about your team.
The Hawks stink. Enjoy that sweep. You know what I mean?
Professional spectator? You talking about Mr. Udonis, Tom?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Freaking guy. I mean, listen, I'm not against anybody grabbing the bag still while you can. But I mean,
Udonis. I love him. Yeah.
You're just a coach wearing team clothes. Like, you know what I mean? Just work down and get a little a little button up. Let's get a little button up. But I'm not gonna poo-poo now like playoff wins. Like, I'm not gonna be like, well, you only beat so-and-so. Shut up. You guys can pull that shit in the regular season. You're not gonna sit here and pull that shit come postseason time.
Tom, is that what the narrative is flipped to? Because 1 day before the series even started, about 65% of the national media picked the Raptors to beat us. So now it's just the Raptors already?
Yeah, just the Raptors, who were one of the hottest teams in the second half of the year, too.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, they attempted to, like people were going to, I don't know what game people were watching. I mean, who's bitching about the fucking fouls? All right. They attempted, right, to try to fucking come into Philly and fucking and bully us. Right. Didn't work. All right. Nice try. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Like, Joe's a monster, dude. Good luck bullying him. Right? He's on the ground a lot. I mean, too much for my liking, but I got to give him some knee pads like Patrick Ewing. But guys, guy's special.
Elbow.
Right?
Give him an elbow pad too. Give him the elbow pad too.
Yeah, guy's special, man. You're not going to make him blink. He's not going to blink. You know what I mean? Like, he might have an off night, but he's not going to blink. Right? He's enjoying himself. He's passionate. It was good to see, little energy from the beard. It was, like I said, to Tom's point, right now we want to dissect wins. You know what I mean? Because all the haters want to come out of underneath the rocks. That's fine, dude. We'll see you. We'll see you on A1A soon.
Streeps,
right?
was that?
We'll see you.
Streeps, was that corner fadeaway 3 from Embiid right in front of the Raptors? Was that aided by any fouls, or did he make that just because he's a freak?
That's what I'm saying. I know.
Right? We did it one night. We went through all these great players in the history of the game, and they all went to the fucking line.
It would have been the most like deep dive, like encyclopedia show ever, because we dissected like the history of the NBA on the phone. And it was like, oh wait, Embiid's not the first guy to do it. The problem is he actually makes them. That's the difference.
I've never watched an NBA game and been like, wow. I mean, it's just unreal how much this guy goes to the line. Really, it's unreal. Not if it's a star player. I will say that about Joe Schmo goes to the line, double digits in a playoff game. I'm gonna have some questions, right? But if a star goes to the line double digits in a playoff game, how's that egregious? If you're watching, if you're just a guy who loves the just the ESPN app, right? And you just love being well, how many times did he go to the line? Wow. I mean, wowzers. 21 times in the first half. How dare you? How dare you? That's so lopsided. But if you watch the game, you would know that, hey, this team came in here and tried to bully ball you, and you just took it back to them, okay? And that's why you went to the line a bunch. Common sense if you watch, but nobody watches anymore. Everybody's got a freaking opinion. And listen, you can have opinions. Whoop-de-doo. We're a better basketball team. And if we get production like we got from Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris, like we had in these first 2 games, I'm telling you, I don't know who in the East beats this team. Okay? Now, that's got to continue, right? But if they play like they did today, and I'm not trying to put a bullseye on their back, I'm just saying I don't know who beats them in a 7-game series. If those 2 guys continue this. Right, we thought it was Maxey's coming out party, and right, you talked about him starting off slow tonight, okay? But guess what? When he needed to just get it going, like you talked about the 2-man game, when they got the 2-man and him and Harden going, adjustments, big fan of it, okay? And they started running that, and then he got going again. He just showed you his ability to score because he's the second leading scorer. So, hey, that looks like a coming out party, because if I had to gamble tonight because of his age, I would have probably went under on his point production tonight. I don't know what it was in Vegas. Say it was 18. I definitely thought, to be honest, I would have went under. Because I felt like tonight would be a night where he has a little bit of there's maybe he has 15, right? Maybe he has 17. I just would have went under 18. But look at him. I'm like a proud freaking father, and I'm proud of Tobias because the guy gets a lot of heat here, rightfully so at times. But this is the aggressive, right, on both ends of the court, Tobias Harris that we beg for, and we've seen in other places. I was
going to say, and I'm sorry, I think the key word is Spellman commented a couple seconds ago. The word comfortable. It's the most probably Spell said probably the most comfortable Tobias looks. You know what I mean? All season. There you go. So, spot on, Spells. He absolutely looked comfortable, and if a comfortable Toby is going to produce, giddy up. I mean, we had 2 guys with double doubles, and we had 2 guys sniffing triple doubles. I mean, that's a production overload, boys. Yeah. And,
Jimmy, why not, Jimmy? Jimmy J says Maxey isn't dropping 60 in 2 games on any other East team, top 3. Why not? Why not? He's a scorer. Why not? Who's got the wheels to keep up with him on any of those teams? I know you're going to get me. I know you're going to try to get me with. You're going to try to get me because I know the logo. I get it. You're going to try to get me with Marcus. So I respect the hell out of Marcus. But stop it, because Marcus isn't covering him. All right? Not covering him. Marcus Smart's got to cover James Harden if that ever comes to fruition and we play the Celtics. Just to be clear on that, on how that's going to work. So who? Pritchard? You better fucking, you're in for a long night, babe. You're in for a long night. So who are you? Which one of those guards?
It's probably Jalen, to be honest.
I think then Jalen would probably have to cover. Then I don't even want to talk about this series, but Jalen would probably have to cover James, and then Marcus would probably cover Maxey. But still, I mean, his speed. I mean, no disrespect to Marcus. I mean, he's even as a player of the year. I get it. He's always been a great defender. But I mean, good luck. Good luck, because you can expose the defensive player of the year real quick with those kind of wheels and his ability to shoot the three. So it becomes, you have to respect him. I'm not going to sit here and crown the kid like he it's MJ in his prime. I'm just saying he's a scorer. So I mean, don't tell me he can't, Jimmy. I think you would have said he couldn't in this series. You would have said before this series, no way he's doing that in the first 2 games. Come on.
I don't know why people in the chat are worried about a Celtics series. They've got to worry. First off, we got to worry about this team and the Heat first, and they got to worry about the Nets and the Bucks first. So like,
yeah, I would pump.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like we face the Magic and the friggin' Hornets.
Yeah, there's
a lot of saying. Like, we've got
basketball.
Yeah,
a lot of basketball, a lot of variables left.
But that's not true, Bill, about the Raptors' defense. That's actually not true. Their defense doesn't stink. Everything else you're saying is true, but the Raptors' defense doesn't stink.
No, they're good. They have a bunch of lengthy 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" guys that play hard.
Now you want to tell me
that's all effort.
You want to tell me tonight without Scottie that they're not as good? Okay, I'll give you that. But night 1 they had him and he went for 38. So you know what I mean? I think Fred makes them not as good defensively. I mean, we had this conversation. I'm not a big Freddie guy. Never have been really. I mean, good for him getting max money. I think when he's hot. But I feel like he can shoot you out of games real fast. And tonight was one of the examples. Somebody said he shot you in, and then here he goes and he shot you out of one. But credit to our defense on the perimeter for getting hands up, and credit to James. I'll say it again. His numbers, this won't show up in the stat sheet tonight, but I thought James Harden was tremendous at closeouts on the perimeter. I thought his legs in these first 2 games, because this is what we got to hope for, right, guys? So if you're looking at it from that way, I thought his legs have looked better, right, in these first 2 games than they did at the tail end of the regular season. So that's a positive, right? We didn't think there was anything. We thought the legs were just running on, it's just the tires were running on. It was all bare at the tires, but it looks like there's still some tread. We still got some tread on the tires here, so that's a good sign moving forward. Because we're going to need them, and there'll never be a back-to-back. So positives. All right, winners of the game. We'll get into that here, and winners of the game will be brought to you by BetUS. Because they're trying to win money, go to BetUS, because BetUS is a leading online sports book. They've been in the market for over 25 years. You can bet anywhere in the U.S. on everything. Use the link pinned right in our comment section over on YouTube and in our description on Facebook. And if you use that link, you get 125% sign-up bonus. So you're going in up money. All right? No brainer, people. Winners of the game. The other night, obviously, we didn't. It was Maxey, but we tried to go with other guys because it was an obvious one. But I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Joel. I mean, I know it's easy, but listen, it takes a special player to be able to withstand some of what they were trying to come at you with, and for him to be able to respond to it, right, within the basketball game. Respond to it with your play is what I'm talking about. Shows maturity to me. Okay? Because that could have set him off, right? It could set athletes off, right? Where they try to force, they try to do too much stuff, right? He just went and got more aggressive on the court back. And that's what I watched from Joel Embiid, and that's what we all watched from Joel Embiid. And that's exciting because that shows growth. And 2, he was just flat out dominant. He imposed his goddamn will tonight. And if he imposes his will every night on people, again, we'll say it again. Hard team to beat. So that's my winner.
Go ahead, Sweeps.
Yeah, I mean, just real quick to Tommy's point. I mean, that's to and people always look at us like we're biased, but that's why he's the MVP. All right, and I don't care if it ends up in his trophy case or not. He's the MVP. All right, that's just what it is. Joker's good, spelling bee's good, fucking spelling bee. JoJo's been the fucking man all year, and it's fucking ridiculous. All right, but let's not get into that. I'll land on I'll land on our overall defense. After that first quarter, It was fantastic. We had 12 blocks. I mean, that's a team that's tenacious. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of blocks, man. That's like Rye said, that's effort and energy, man. And we always talk about that. Defense. You got to want to play defense. You know what I mean? Like you can of all the talent in the world, but you can be a slug. So for us to decide that we wanted to turn up the notch. Not that we didn't play good defense in game one, just that the slow start and Freddie getting off early like that, and then for him to finish 5 for 16. We just hounded them. We hounded them, and it was an awesome team defense to watch tonight.
Yeah, and the Slim Reaper says, Danny. He was great defensively tonight. He really was. And I was thinking about going with him, but I just, this is what he's got to do. So I'm not gonna do this. I mean, this was a Joel Embiid to me game, and I won't give it to Joe every night because it's like, right. We haven't given it to him every night, so I want to give it to him when I know that he's got the most energy on the basketball court. Like I'm going to give it to you nights when you're flat out engaged. When you're engaged, because when you're engaged, right, I got an opportunity. We talk about running down Broad Street. If Joel Embiid's engaged, right, maybe I don't get hit by that semi-tractor trailer, right? Maybe I dodge that one, and we keep going, and we're on to another round, right? And then we're just talking about dodging little scooters, right? Come on. That's it.
Yeah, and like you said, and just his tremendous feel for the game, because, if that's tight, then he needs to go for 50 tonight. He had 19 in the first quarter, and I understand that it's not easy. I'm not saying he should have had 80 just because he had 19, right? But he finished with 31 because he didn't have to. You know what I mean? We were able to spread it out, and everything was comfortable, all right? But if we're in a dogfight, feel free to go for 45, big fella. Like I know you can.
Yeah, but the team basketball, I'm totally cool with.
Yeah. That's what I said. Absolutely.
From this whole group has been team oriented. They're making the extra pass, right? And we should just be a game 2 winner right there. I mean, they make the extra pass again the next game. That's important. That's an important thing when you have talent. If you don't have talent, the extra pass don't fucking matter. All right. But if you got a ton of talent, the extra passes matter. Getting other guys involved matter. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing each guy almost get their time for them to get shots up, right? And for them to it's worked really well for 2 games. Let's just hope it continues on.
I'll go with the same guy I went with game 1. Maybe we'll go for a three-peat, in game 3. I'm going Tobias Harris. I really, truly am. I think like Maxey, I don't think either one of them had any points in the first quarter. Or if they did, it was very late in the first quarter.
Yeah, I don't think they did either. I know Tyrese didn't. I don't think Tobias.
I don't know if he had a shot, to be honest. Like, if somebody knows that, and if they have like the game log, in the splits between the quarters, please let us know, because
we had 32, so you're probably both damn near close, because JoJo had 19, so that only leaves.
And Harden, and I think Harden had like 8.
So that only leaves over
5, right? Because he definitely had a layup and a 3.
So that leaves about 8 points on the bone.
If he didn't have a 3, I know he definitely had a layup, and he definitely went to the line in the first quarter. Harden. So yes. I know that to be factual. But Danny may have hit a 3 in the first.
But either way, to your point is spot on, because they probably both got skunked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I mean, you could have looked at that.
Close enough either way, right?
Very. At the most, both of them had extremely little impact offensively in the game. I'll just go offensively because both of them did, especially Tobias. They did some things defensively, especially to stop the run that the Raptors went on early. But how many times have we seen? Forget this season, since Tobias Harris has gotten here, that oh my God, if you don't get Tobias Harris off to that hot start, he's going to kind of disappear, because the thing that we've really been disappointed with Tobias is that when he gets off to the hot start, being aggressive, really driving the lane, all those things, he kind of goes away from that. So it's kind of like, well, damn, if you're not going to get it early, when are you going to get it from Tobias? You saw very little from him early, because obviously, and again, that's not a shot at him or Tyrese. It's because when Embiid's doing what he's doing, and obviously Harden's kind of filling in the pieces, you don't need anybody else to really do anything. But Tobias, for the first 2 games, he's been the glue for the most part. He's just been, okay, you need an extra bucket. Harden, he's going to be a little bit off, or Embiid, your double and triple team, pass it out, quick three. And that's the biggest thing. And I think this goes to Spellman, which he said, you guys talked about the comfortability. It took a couple weeks where it was a kick out from Harden, kick out from Maxey, kick out from Embiid mostly. And Tobias was taking that extra 2 steps, an extra dribble, indecisiveness. He was unwilling to take that quick three. He's not thinking anymore, ladies and gentlemen. He's not thinking. And he's just firing. And that's the biggest thing, because if you're going to be a threat like that, on the perimeter, then he's going to be able to do his, I call it an old man game, because he's going to lull you to sleep. He's going to bob and weave, do all that. And that's exactly what he did. He made some really tough shots where he turned around, he did the quick fadeaway, some really timely shots that if you take those away, especially when they're making their little run, I'm not saying the game is lost, but it could be a lot closer, right? Like, I don't know if it got any closer than like 11, 12 points, similar to how they went on their little mini run in game 1, the Raptors. But timely points when Embiid's either off the floor, he's being smothered, or you just need that quick bucket. And that's what you need a guy like that for. So it's tremendous. Right. And if you go ahead.
They definitely didn't score. So I think Georgie had all his 5 in the first quarter, and a 3 by Danny Green, probably 4 by Harden, and the rest was the big fella. So the 2 supporting actors didn't have anything in the first. So,
and he's 3 for 3 from 3, Tobias. And it's not only that, like, it's not even like the production's important. The points are important, but it's the way he's doing it. I mean, you talk about 7 for 11. I mean, that's big time efficient. 3 for 3 from 3. That's big time efficient. Like, for analytical nerds, freaking jerk off to that kind of stuff. And in game 1, he had 28, right? Or 26.
26.
And even same type of thing. He was 9 for 14. I mean, it was ultra efficient. I mean, so like I said, like, analytical guys are literally just it shot up right all over their face, because that's how good that is. That's how important that is from a guy like that, who's not going to get. Sorry, I gotta do something real quick. But who's not going to get, 20 shots a night. It's never going to get that kind of shots here with these guys. So if he's able to do that and be confident in doing it on lower shot productions, like 15 or under guaranteed, then, man, I mean, I'll say again, I don't care who I play. If Tobias Harris is this efficient on a nightly basis in the postseason, we are trouble to teams. Nobody has 4 scorers like this walking around in the Eastern Conference. Nobody. I'll repeat it. Nobody. And I got to pee real fast. Nobody has 4 guys who can score at this level in the Eastern Conference. Nobody. 3, sure. 4, no. Nope. No. So, Bill, who I play next, I don't care. Would I rather face the Heat over the Bucks? Yes, please. I'm not trying to. If I don't have to play the Bucks in round 2, I'd rather not.
I don't think we ever would, though, because it's the other side of the.
That's what he had.
No, not to you, but to Bill. I mean, to Bill, I don't think it's even in the cards. I think it's either Hawks or Heat. I don't even think that's even in the conversation.
It's 1-4, 1-4-2-3. So
it's the other bracket.
You don't have to see them. You don't see them monsters until the finals.
Yeah, which thank God, because I don't want to see them until the East Finals. Sweeps, to Tom's point, and him and I have been talking about this a lot. Because Tobias Harris in the regular season, aside from him not picking up the pieces when guys aren't scoring and all that stuff, the biggest thing with him that I've been frustrated with and that I begged for him to get better at was rebounding, is to get active on the glass, because, just for the, just with the eye test, well, he's the second biggest guy on the floor for us. It's Embiid. Yeah. And then, so you need, just based off of paper, you need your power forward to get some rebounds. Because if Embiid's not going to, and he's going to do his, well, he can't get all of them. You don't have 2 Andre Drummonds out there. So I needed that in this series to really swing the needle the other way, because I don't know if it's the regular season and they're coasting. I don't know. I don't trying to get into a player's head, but Tobias Harris in the regular season, especially these last couple weeks to month, he's been bad on the glass. I call it flat-footed Tobias, because he never goes up for it. It's like he doesn't even try. Well, you saw in game one, and Tom and I talked about it on Saturday, he was really active on the glass. He had 6 rebounds. And again, that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot in compared to what he's been doing. He had 10 tonight.
Yeah.
So for everything he did on the glass in a good way in game one, he did that +4 in this one. So if he's going to do what he does,
no one wants the rebound, Ryan. Sorry,
yes.
It's a team no one that wants the rebound. Yes. Right? There's a lot of teams out there that are like great rebounding teams. The Raptors will pound the glass.
Well, that's their second. That's their second biggest strength.
No, and you're listen. I agree with you 100%. I think, and I think that's where some of the frustration comes from. It's always going to be because the max money. You know what I mean? Like because people just don't understand. You know what I mean? It's it just had to happen. You know what I mean? Whether we liked it or not. We really had no choice. The NBA was giving it. The NBA was giving. Yeah, the NBA is giving out free money, so we didn't really have a choice. You know what I mean? So just take that out of the equation. You're not paying them. Who cares? All right. So once people can get over that, then you look at the size and his ability, and then that's why he'll get a bad rap because then you're like, hey, is this guy playing hard? I mean, no reason he shouldn't average 12 rebounds a game. Yeah. All right, not saying like in the playoffs, because but. After these 2 games, that's 16 boards. So now you're averaging 8, so, but if he just was, would, insert himself a little more, on the especially on the defensive glass, then those numbers would increase. And that's all. And that's all. And that's why we kind of get, agitated because, that's another energy and effort thing. Right?
Yeah.
And it's not just in our eyes. That's reality. You know what I mean? That's, why Dennis Rodman was beloved. All right. Not just because he had purple hair and he wore dresses and he painted his nails and people were like, oh, this guy's crazy. It's because the guy played his guts out, you know what I mean? And got the most out of his 6'8" height. You know what I mean? It's like the league in rebounding, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 seasons. You know what I mean? At 6'8".
Yep, it's funny you brought up Rodman, by the way, because I was scrolling Facebook yesterday, and the NBA had like on this date in NBA playoff history, and it had a Dennis Rodman stat line. It was 0 shots, 0 points, 0 assists, 26 rebounds. I'm like, okay, yep, that sounds about right.
and one hell of a defensive effort.
Oh yeah, and it's we've been talking about this, and like my biggest fear, because I had us going 7 with the Raptors, not because I thought that they had the talent that we did, none of that. It was because our weaknesses, from what I was seeing in the regular season, because we can only judge what we see, our weaknesses match their strengths. And our weaknesses for the last month or so has been on the glass, and it's been turnovers.
And their length is incredible. Yeah.
I said this on Saturday. They have their culture. Again, they have talent. They have some good pieces and everything. So I'm not saying they're the Magic or anything. But their culture there is they have a lot of lengthy 6'8" guys that play hard. And they have a coach when he's not, bitching about fouls. They have a coach that, makes adjustments. I think the thing with Nick Nurse is, and the reason why he's getting all fired up, he knows there's only so many adjustments you can make. If our guys are doing what we're doing, you can't adjust to that. You just can't.
He's had a gunfight with a rubber knife. He's got a Halloween rubber knife. You know what I mean? So you're going to get frustrated. You're like, yeah, man, what do you want me to do with this rubber knife? So, and that doesn't take anything away from how we played the first 2 games. That's just
take anything away from those Scottie Barnes either. Like, I know how good of a player, a good young up-and-coming player Scottie Barnes is becoming, but he was there game 1. And game 1, we abused it. So, do they have talent? Yes, they have. They actually have more talent than people give them credit for, in my opinion. Because their 3 main guys can score the basketball. Fred, Siakam, and Scottie when he's playing, when he's on the court. I mean, there are 3 guys who can score the basketball, and they got other guys who can mix that in. We talk about Precious and we talk about Boucher or whatever the hell his name is. I mean, they're guys who can get shots. They can score. Gary Trent's a scorer, right, when he's normal and healthy. So, I mean, they are a tough series, right? To your point, like, if they're fully healthy for 7 games, that's why I had 6, because they are a good basketball team. I think people are getting misguided that they're a 5 seed. Like, if they play like they played in the second half of the season, the first half of the season, they'd be a top 3 seed, right? Mm-hmm. So, or arguably the 1 seed. So I think people need to relax. And the other thing that you were saying about the regular season and what our eyes told us, this is what I'm learning about veteran teams come regular season time, right? Like veteran teams that their goal is to try to win a championship. It's almost like spring training. Sometimes, like it just like not every game. There's games you're going to see the flashes where you're getting the production from everybody, right? And guys are locked in and focused. And then there's other games where it's like, man, do we stink, right? Like we've all sat here and said, like, are we any good? Like we have all this talent, but are we any good? And I think part of it is, listen, it is a long season, the NBA season for these guys. I get it, right? But when you've been to the dance a bunch, it's almost like, hey, how can I just get to 50 wins? And right, you know what I mean? I just got to get to 50 wins, and I'm going to be a top 4 seed or whatever. And once playoffs hits, let's go. And what I saw was the team turn the switch on, which is hard to do. We talked about this. Like, can you just turn it on? And credit to them for the first 2 games of this series, and we'll get the test in games 3 and 4. They were able to turn their switch on. Now, how do you go play in a hostile environment? That's the big key. How does Tobias Harris play in the hostile environment, right? We know Joel's going to play well in a hostile environment. How do the other guys around him play in that type of environment? It's going to really tell us about not only we turn the switch on. We know that. You don't go win 2 games like this in the playoffs without turning it on, right? Mm-hmm. But now can we be focused and we know the goal at hand, right? Because if we can get out of a series earlier, that's a win too, right? I mean, any more rest that you can give the guys, especially in a series, even if you win this in 4 games or 5, you're getting a little banged up in this one because they're going to be physical with you. So how can we get out of it earlier? Game 3 is such an important game. Like Danny Green said right after the game, and this is why you need veterans like this, right? Hey, the series doesn't start till somebody wins on somebody else's court, right? Mm-hmm. And we got, and game 3 is the most important game for us. We got to go up there. We know the environment. So, I mean, listen, that's all great microphone talk, obviously, but it's the truth and it's the facts. And we're going to find out. Because if you go, and you don't got to go beat them by 10 or 15, it doesn't matter to me, right? Go get a bounce, a three bouncer, right, that goes in. Okay, go get me something like that and just get out of there. We talk about it in football all the time. Just get out of there with a dub, right? And we can address the problems afterwards.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sweeps.
No, I was just absolutely. Drake's going to be leading the cheerleading section. So, we nothing like shutting him up.
No, I mean, I was just say real quick, Tom. I'm not going to say all they have because, again, Siakam could get hot because he did not have a good game again. So, like, if people want to, come and ask, like,
Tobias Harris, Ryan, real quick. Credit to Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris.
Yes.
For the reason he's 7 for 20 tonight.
Yeah, so like for anybody who wants to be like, oh, you guys won again because of the refs. No, it's because Siakam wasn't Siakam tonight. Like that's really why. And Fred VanVleet forgot how to shoot the basketball after the first quarter. But for them to really get back in this series, all they had, like they tried it tonight. Then Sweeps, you brought it up in the open. They came out trying to play bully ball. They tried to get us off off our game, trying to, to get us rattled. That's all they really have to really shake this one out, unless you have a game where just everybody gets cold. Which again, like I know, like we've been shooting really good from 3, and I understand it all evens out at the end of the day. But again, I'll say it again, Nick Nurse. The reason why, again, I'm not trying to play like Dr. Phil or anything, but in my opinion, somebody who I like Nick Nurse because he doesn't play the foul game a lot. He's not like this is very out of character for him, like to me, that he's like doing all this extra stuff. And I think that the reason for that is because he knows he made a mega adjustment before the game 1, and it came out and bit him. They made another adjustment in the third quarter in game 1, and it hurt him again. There's only so many adjustments they can make. And if you have, these 4 guys, and a couple others off your bench or a Danny Green who learn how to dunk again, if you're going to see that for another 2-3 games, this is going to be done by next Monday.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's, it's, and Nick Nurse is a really good coach. You know what I mean? It was almost like they were reading all that social media stuff that you guys posted. You know what I mean? It was like they were reading their fans' social media, like, all right, well, we got to come out and break this guy's leg. All right, so let's try that. Like, oh, that didn't work. Oh, shit.
Oh, he's angry. He's angry because that's what woke him up.
with the TNT dynamite, Wile E. Coyote. Tried to dynamite, that didn't work.
No.
Bugs is still alive.
Had an adverse effect, that did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, JT, big time to lose a baseball here. Would be a great time to lose a baseball. Talking Phillies for 1 second, but or at least just get a sack flying and cut this to 2. With Harper coming up, or the fact that maybe you can tie it a little closer to tie it in the 9th, because we need something to change here with this baseball team real quick.
The starter got hurt, so that kind of opened the door. You know what I mean? So Chad Kuehl was cruising.
Loser of the game, the Sixers. I don't have one. But for the Raptors, I know people want to say, well, loser is, you let them go on a 22 run. Yeah, listen, I get it. 20-2 runs are never a good time. I understand. But
Didi doubled up on a ball back to the pitcher. Sorry, but idiot. Where are you going? You're the trail guy, dude. You're down 3.
I think Tom's frozen with fear. Right now.
Watch this. Where are you going? You're the trail guy. You're not the tying run.
Well, this has been a fun season. I've seen enough. Now they gotta bring me back. Right now, the Phillies have to bring me back into them now. And I know it's so early. I'm not this guy, but now you got to prove to me, like I said last year, you got to go win like 8 out of 10 for me to say, okay, all right, I'm back. I'm gonna engage you every night. Freaking losers.
As I said pregame, just have your stuff ready to go by the end of the NBA season, and hopefully, the end of our regular season or postseason isn't until around June 3rd.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry. That means we would get bounced in the East. June 15th. Hopefully it's around that.
No bounced. My loser. My loser, Freddie.
I thought you were going to go the Phillies.
No. They're too easy. They were the crumb last night. They're too easy. But now it's Freddie, because this is what I feel like. I don't watch Freddie on a nightly basis, right? And so you never know. But we talked about it, right? I felt like with that team that beat us without him, at the Wells Fargo, right, and in Toronto, I liked better. I like that starting lineup better because Scottie Barnes and Siakam were like 0.4s. Like pretty much 0.4s because they're both their size, right? And I like that. I like that team better, right, constructed than when he's your starting point guard. But you got to, you know what I mean? You're not starting that guy as your starting point guard. I get it, right? Well, but you guys know what I'm saying.
I'll just say this really quick because this goes back. We've talked about this before, and again, this is no shot to Fred VanVleet. So I don't want to have this be the narrative, and then he comes out and puts up 47 in Game 3. That's not what we're trying to do.
He already did that already because I've already said this too much.
Well, and if it was going to be like that, it was going to be after the hot start. He can't get off to that hot start again. You know what I'm saying? That was crazy what he did in the first quarter. But to your point, and why I never debated that with you, that you had Scottie Barnes and you had Siakam, like you said, 0.4s. I didn't love the whole. I don't like the fit with VanVleet with them because again, what's their culture? 6'9" guys that play hard. But then you have a 6'2" guard that could shoot you out of games and that could just alleviate all that playing hard stuff. So it's kind of weird because it is an identity thing because you're going to have him running the team. He's going to run the offense and all that. And if he gets hot, well, then you're going to keep Siakam to just standing there. You're going to have Scottie just standing there. You're going to have Precious just standing there. The only other guy who would be getting hot would be, OG Anunoby. But you have a bunch of guys that can play that. So it's weird. To your point, when VanVleet's not in the lineup, well, then their culture is, okay, it's going to be lengthy guys, but they can all handle the ball when they need to. And it's kind of just like a 3-man, not three-headed monster, because that's, that's putting too much credit to them. But it is a completely different dynamic when you have, a small guard mixed in the fray that's going to do what he does. And that he shot you out of the game. He completely shot you out of the game if you're trying.
Yeah, he's a volumer. He's a volume.
Oh, yes, he is.
That's my loser.
Sweeps?
Yeah. I mean, you got to, we won the game, so it's always got to end up on the Raptors, and for me, it's Pascal. You know what I mean? Like that's your dude. You know what I mean? You got other guys out, and you're on the road. I get it. You know what I mean? But your 20 points were hollow. You were 7 for 20, so you made 6 or 7 free throws, 0 for 1 for 3. You know what I mean? You had 10 rebounds for whatever that's worth. You had 5 fouls. You got teed up. He was, he tried to bang with Embiid a couple times. He got it. Like I said, he got teed up. I don't know what he was trying to do. Like I said, but that's your, when you're missing guys and you're the dude. Like I understand Tyrese point and Glenn, Freddie definitely shot them out of the game, but then that's when Pascal has to grab and say, "Oh, calm down, bro. Like, this is my team. This is my team. You know what I mean? Like I got to find a way to get 40 tonight. You know what I mean? Like if we're gonna try to steal one on the road against a better basketball team, bagged up, I got to get 40, legit 40.
Yeah, Freddie shot 16 threes tonight.
Yeah, 5 for 16. Gross.
Jesus. I'll go right back to it, and I'll lead this into a question for you two guys. Speaking as coaches, so I'll say Nick Nurse is the loser once again because, again, he knows he can't make any more adjustments. But the thing again, if I'm a Raptors fan, which I'm clearly not, but if I'm a Raptors fan and I'm looking at it, listen, I understand you have to try and find a solution or a narrative like, oh, well, you can't win with, if you're going to let these guys run us over or be on the wrong side of the, of the free throw line, all that stuff. I'm not even going to get into that again. We did that at the beginning. But you have been, as Nick Nurse, somebody who has been losing his mind on the sideline, grabbing his hair, flipping out, arguing with Embiid, talking smack, but losing the talking smack little battle with Embiid. As two guys that, are on the screen that are coaches, do you at all worry about, hey, if I am showing, like, listen, this is in my head, I'm showing weakness, I'm showing that I'm now begging for the calls. If you're a player, does that do anything?
Well, I just feel like all NBA coaches beg for calls, but the one thing that I would be worried about now as a player is when my coach is jawing with other players, right? You know what I mean? Like everything else is fine in the NBA because they all beg for calls. They all, you know what I mean? That's their way of trying to hope that the refs lean their way one night. So it's all posturing, right? It's all come on.
Yeah, I know. It's like in the middle of every point that you're making is tremendous, and then we watch the fills. That's a double. What a joke. It's definitely a hit. I mean, I love the effort. How does it turn into a double? What is going on? If you can't play center field at a high level, then get out. No way that's a double. Dude's not even hustling till now when he sees the outfielder loafing. Goodness gracious. Phil's had to be on during, the Sixers nice huge win post game, and the Phil's had to be on, and we're all getting agitated.
I turned it. So I'm not even gonna lie to you. I turned it off.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
You should.
I said, you know what? Let me check it out. Let's check in on the Nuggets and Warriors.
Yeah, Harper lead off the ninth with a solo homer.
Yeah, whoop-de-doo. Jerk off about it. Okay, so I don't even know what the hell I was.
Nick Nurse, this guy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you were just talking.
Like, as a coach, I'm not going to engage other players at any level, like especially the best player. Like, you crazy? I don't want to give anybody any motivation. So, I mean, my motivation comes with it with my group and being focused on my group. And I think his presser was a little too whiny. So I would never do that in a presser. But on the court, in terms of like talking to refs, I got no problem with that. But like the 2 wah pressers, he had 2 wah look woe is me press conferences. Grow up, dude. You're not playing. All right. So keep that in mind. You're not playing in this series, Nick. Yeah. You're not.
No, yeah. So that's a good good question by Rye because I know what you're saying and I agree with Tom. You know what I mean? Like, and the only time, especially wouldn't do it like, in an interview setting. You know what I mean? The only time in the heat of the battle would I and have I
only after being engaged by that player. And it wasn't anything to carry on. The dude that struck out a couple of our guys looked over at me. And I said, don't look at me, dude. I'll go 4 for 4 against you. I'm 45 years old. Don't look over here, dude. You know what I mean? So, I've done something like that, but I'm an asshole.
No, I mean,
if somebody engages me, yeah, exactly. It's a different conversation.
Sure. Tom, you know how I love doing like the screenshots during games, but I mean, when you've got physicality like this, I'm sorry, there's going to be calls. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a smother job. And by the way,
you have to do. I mean, in reality,
yes. So it's like if you're playing him straight up, right? If you're trying to defend Embiid straight up, which I mean, you should be fired on the spot if you're going to try that. But if you're going to do that and you're getting ticky-tack calls, okay, maybe I can see what you're saying. But if you're going to run 3, most of the times 2, sometimes 3 guys, a center who's really not even a center because your center's 6'9". So again, you're already losing that battle. A guard in VanVleet who's going to come over and help, and then a 3 and Anunoby. There's going to be guys. There's contact. I'm sorry, especially when you have a 7'2" monster who's running full speed. That's what it is.
It's 2 ways. Big guys that are great get calls, and little guys. I mean, listen, great players get calls, period. But when you're gigantic, you're going to get calls. And when you're the little guy, right, and you want to go up into the trees, and you're willing to go up there and you're willing to risk your body amongst the trees, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get calls. These are human beings calling these games. I just want these people to understand this. And they're probably fouls. Like AI went to the line a ton. All right, because he had no problem going up into the rafters per se. All right, and that's what happens, right? We did this conversation with foul calls.
You had to grab AI, just like you got to grab Joe. I mean, that's it. You can't stop him otherwise.
I know people want like playoff basketball to go back to like you just automatically go back to the 70s and 80s. Well, it's not going to. All right, or the 90s. Like no, anything from 2000s up, right? Like. It's what it is. Like it gets tougher in the playoffs, and Joe probably could have went to the line 18 times tonight if it was a regular season game. So in reality, he went to the line 14 times. He probably could have went 18-20 tonight. The physicality out there tonight if it was a regular season game. So they did let some things go, obviously. But this is what I hate. Like stop him. Giannis goes to the line just as much.
He's number 2 in the league. Yes.
Yeah, because he's gigantic and he imposes his will. So your only way of trying to stop him, right, is by trying to foul him and slow him down. It doesn't work.
And the only reason why it hasn't been as big of a narrative to Embiid is because up until last season, halfway through last season, Giannis couldn't make them. Embiid's always been able to make them. So now it's a problem. Again, if you want to get rid of free throws, get rid of pass interference too. You know what I'm saying? Like integral parts of basketball, integral parts of sports. Then get rid of all of it. Stop fouling. If you don't want us to go to the line, stop fouling us.
Yeah.
Just let us get easy ones. Just let us drive the lane. Don't touch us then.
Well, Don, his post game's different.
He's a perimeter guy. He's a perimeter
guy. His post game's different, Joker. His post game's different. I'm not making excuses. His post game is different. He's not like first. Yeah, good.
Down 3.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, and Embiid, he was asked again what exactly he said to Nick Nurse also. He said, respectfully, please stop bitching about the calls. Respectfully.
Yeah, I love it.
I love the respectfully.
It's like with all due respect. So
yes.
I mean, say whatever the fuck I want.
Appreciate you, Eagle City 56.
He says, HED, I wait for you all every post game, best in the business. Man, and you guys engage the people. Yep, we try to get to them all, and that's the segment we're at right now, is engaging the people, and we want all those people to head up to Gleason's Bar if you're in the area, Levittown, PA. Use promo code HUD for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, take out, or online. Gleason's Bar and Steaks.com is where you can find them. Go check them out. We love them, and make sure you check out if you have any, property damage, you have any to your home. We are able to help. Don't fight your homeowner's insurance alone. Contact our good friends at Araya Public Adjusting, 813-564-3364. Sorry, Araya Public Adjusting. They're everywhere on all your social media platforms as well. Go make sure you check them out. So we'll engage comments here for a couple minutes more, and we'll see ourselves out here. And Steven says, I'm here for all the clowns complaining about free throws. Yep, they just never watched the game. Steven, TTP, what up, brother? Said people talking about foul calls. Sorry, he says people talking about fouls are stupid. Joel gets aggressively doubled and triple team every time he touches the ball. Of course, he gets to the line more than anyone else. Isn't that common sense? It is, but some people just don't like common sense. They're in it for agendas. You know what I mean? They're in it for agendas.
Yeah, that's what you said. Right. It's like, it's like talking about Aaron Donald. Like, the guy gets doubled. Like, but if you're gonna hold him, like that's cheating. You can't do that. Like, like just because you can't stop a guy, you can't be like, oh, why are we calling holding? Why are we calling foul? Why are we calling fouls? Like, you can't. Like, listen, sorry, not sorry.
Tom, when you
better. Our guy's better.
Yes. And Tom, when you and I did that infamous show that wasn't a show on the phone when we dissected a bunch of, the history of the NBA with free throws and everything, what were the two guys that we focused on? And that was the two guys that we looked at, not as comparisons to Embiid, but we looked at Shaq and Hakeem. And we were like, okay, let's look what they did. Well, when you get a guy who's like the perfect combination of both, Hakeem with the fadeaways and obviously the perimeter, and Shaq just being dominant, physical, as far as in the paint, you're gonna go to the line. Jokic is a snail. Like everyone's saying, like, oh well, what about Joker? He doesn't need the free throws. It's a completely different game. It's a completely different game.
No, it is. It is. Shaq went to the line more, if not just as much as Embiid, and so did Hakeem. So and both played back in the day. Per se, so I don't know why people just don't.
I mean, without looking at the numbers in front of me, I would say dream less because the dream shake, and he had a little bit of a jump shot, he had an elbow jumper and stuff, and he had a more well-rounded offensive game than Shaq, and I don't take anything away from Shaq. I love Shaq. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Shaq was just so dominant. You know what I mean?
Two different type of players in the post.
You had to foul Shaq for your own safety. And the fact that he was like, when he shot free throws, it was like holding a baseball. I mean, go to a free throw line and go shoot a pool ball, and let me know how good you are at shooting. Shooting a pool ball in a hoop. You know what I mean? So it's two different players.
Absolutely. TTP, big dub. I love how Harden's taken on the CP3 type of role here. He's managed the game and sets guys up like a true point guard. Only criticism is I can do without the 5 turnovers. Great. And he had 1 in game 1, 5 here. So, game 3 is the important one for him too, because on the road, we know it. I mean, you can't turn the basketball over on the road. It's just like turnovers in football on the road. Can't have a bunch on the road and expect to win.
Yeah, we actually lost the turnover battle tonight, which, we obviously didn't do in game 1, but almost a positive out of that. Again, losing the turnover battle, that is no positive, but to lose the turnover battle and still win the game handily, and other than for like 30 seconds there, really, there was no real worry about losing the game. That's a big confidence boost, especially now that we're going on the road.
Absolutely. You won, I guess we talked about first when we came in, you won 2 games essentially a little bit differently. Yep. And you still kick their ass. And I love how TTP said on the one, it's time to step on it. No, it was Eagle City. Got to step on a dinosaur's neck in game 3. Got to withstand the punch in the mouth. And they're going to have a ton of energy. We have to match it. And they did tonight. To Eagle City, it's a little easier to take that punch at home for sure. You know what I mean? A little easier to withstand that punch at home. We did. And I completely agree with you. I think game 3, they're going to come out like rabid dogs. Can we withstand it on the road? And I believe we do. I think we win game 3, and I think our cough up is game 4.
Yep.
And we'll talk about it after that. You know what I mean? Because if we lose game 3, then we're a little all right. Because game 4 becomes you want to try to get the 2-2 here, right? Because a series can shift in a heartbeat, right? In a second, right? And we don't want a series to shift. You just don't want series to shift. We've been down the series shift road here, right? No series shift. Go step on the neck like Eagle City said.
Yeah, I could see us, winning game, on Wednesday, game 3, like 101-97, just like a real scrappy, maybe we give up a lead in the fourth quarter per se. And then we just scramble to win. Maybe another big three from Danny to kind of, put us ahead, all that sort of stuff. And then game 4, we'll see. But again, game 3 is crucial because you don't want to give them any, unnecessary, signs of life.
Nope, that's the biggest key.
Josh, appreciate you.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, brother. Make sure you guys all hit the damn like and subscribe if you haven't. Game 3 predictions, real quick, and let's get out of here.
Sweeps?
Sixers. I think we get it done. I disagree to the sweep on Sunday just because we know how good of a coach Nick Nurse is, and it's just hard to sweep a team. Even if you're that much better and they're banged up, it is what it is. But I think we understand the importance of this game 3 here. All right, game 3. So I think we come out and I don't know if we score as easily as we did at home, but I still think we play enough defense, and we win 102-95.
Wow, 102-95. Okay. I was 110-107.
Ooh.
Dub us. I think we're in for a little bit of a dog fight game 3. You just have to expect it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll go.
A wounded animal into a corner. I gotta expect them to at least take a bite. We'll see. Hopefully, there's no bite taken. Hopefully,
I'll say this, and
trying to play.
We'll probably just be coming on the air on Wednesday when this is happening. I'll say we're actually down 7 at half.
Oh,
so we'll be down 7, and then we handle our business. We actually make an adjustment. Yep, we'll actually make an adjustment to their adjustments, and I'll stick right with it. I'll go 101-97.
You guys are a little low. I like it. I like a little Pomsy effort.
A little scrappy.
All right, listen, boys. Fun show. We'll see you guys back after the game during the game and after the game on Wednesday night. And tomorrow night you'll have your usual Tuesday lineup here. You have the hockey happy hour, and then I know some of the boys in our post-game group will be doing a Phillies poster.
I was going to say, appreciate you having me. I can't make too many of these, but good times.
Yeah, so glad you could dabble. You know what I mean?
Sir.
Love to have you dabble.
Another Phillies loss, in case anybody was wondering.
Yep, keep it track at home. 4-7. Not that that's a need to panic. It's just the way you're losing against teams that aren't good baseball teams, right? But you also know, hey, listen, I don't overreact to this stuff, but I'm starting to. I'm starting to. This has been a bad week and a half now. We're going on in baseball. Horrendous going on. Solid week of baseball. Solid week of just horrendousness. So I don't know when that's going to change. And I thought we had veterans in this locker room and all that. It's not looking like it.
Tom, let me know if this is factual. So that's us when we're watching the Sixers, right? That's us when we're watching the Phillies.
Yep. It's dark. It is dark here. So we'll see. Hopefully they come and figure out a way to win a game tomorrow night. When we talk about the Phillies, because you don't want to just go on this skid for too long, right, guys? I mean, we get it. Baseball is built with like skids, right? Everybody takes them at some point, per se, right? Sweeps, but can you not turn it into 2 weeks? Can you not turn it into 2.5 weeks? You got to stop this skid. And one of your better pitchers came out tonight and tried to help you stop this skid, and your offense was anemic in Coors Field. In Coors Field, this high-priced, stupid money offense was fucking anemic. And this loser should get plunked by his own teammates for swinging at the first pitch in the 9th. And the guy on second base should get plunked by his own teammates because where are you going? Where are you going? And everybody, the whole lineup should get plunked tomorrow, right? The whole lineup should have to stand in front of we'll get the curveball machine out like Kapler, and everybody has to stand in front of the curveball machine and get plunked 10 times, right? The freaking man up a little bit here. Let's wake up. Wake up, stupid money. I'd rather Machado. Just kidding.
Jesus Lord.
Not down. We don't have to worry about errors at third base, but no.
We're going back to 2019. That's not good.
Oh,
We lost to the Raptors that year, Tom. Let's not go back to that year.
Listen, this offense has been so anemic. It is absolutely on the leaders of this offense, right? When you talk about Kyle Schwarber, you talk about Bryce Harper, you talk Nick Castellanos, and you talk about JT Realmuto. It is on those guys that started. Gene Segura, professional hitter. Didi, right? There's too many good hitters in there in this lineup for this shit. Okay? There's too many. There's too many professional hitters that have played this game a long time and have the numbers to prove that they're good hitters for this shit. There just is. There just is. You're allowed skids. You better wake the fuck up. And you should as hell come out of your skid in Coors Field, assholes. Right? The place to come out of a skid at, it's a Coors. And I don't want to hear the 10 runs in Miami. That's a jerk off 10 runs to me.
Yeah,
that's a jerk off.
You caught a break tonight. The starter, Chad Kuhl, was dealing 68 pitches through a warm-up pitch. Something, he felt something. He had to come out, right? So then you had 9 outs, with a Colorado bullpen. It's not, necessarily world beaters. Come on.
Ugly loss, but boy, it's a great show. We're getting out of here. Every post-game show brought to you by our good friends over at FanUp. FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NBA, daily MLB contests, win great prizes. Sign up today. Use our promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points, $50 value. FanUp right on the Apple Store. Go download it. And if you haven't hit the damn like and subscribe yet, no better time than now. For Nick Delgazzo, Ryan Brodo, I'm Tom Arnone. We love you all. As PJ says, fuck the Phils. We out.